What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Let us fire it up. I'm going to get so owned in this game. It's time that we get to the Steam Top 50 and seeing what the latest trends are. Gary's mod. There's TF2. It's usually around somewhere. Oh, it's snakes. Does it just have really high retention? This genre is still viable. Or you just gotta shoot his butt. There was kind of a trend for a while. Like that is just the way things work. We did it! What is up, chums? Happy Friday to you all. So yeah, since the last Clark Tank, 4 weeks ago, we went to Bitsummit, we went to E3, we had an Epic Game Store exclusive announcement with Phantom Brigade. We launched a little game called Cadence of Hyrule. Lots of stuff's been going on. So yeah, this is going to be an action-packed show, so we should get moving. First off, yeah, we at Brace Yourself Games went to Bitsummit. I would definitely highly recommend it. The Kyoto indie scene is really cool. There's lots of great devs there, and the event itself is really fun. And yeah, it's not too difficult to, if you want to purchase a booth there, you can do that, and it doesn't cost too much money to be able to demo your game and just get to see how a different audience feels about it. Phantom Brigade, which is the game that we were showing there, won a Media Choice Award, which was awesome and unexpected, but awesome. How does Bitsummit compare to Tokyo Game Show? Oh man. It's completely different. So it's much more of an indie sort of show. It's way smaller. I think the attendance is in the low tens of thousands rather than the hundreds of thousands like Tokyo Game Show. There is still a presence of some major AAA companies, like Nintendo did have a big booth. So it's changed a little bit since then, and there was a Sony booth as well. But for the most part, almost everything else is indies or small companies showing off their games. So yeah, it has much more of a sort of family sort of feel to it. So yeah, it's really fun. If you ever get the chance, I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, earlier chronologically, before Cadence of Hyrule announced, we went to E3 and we were demoing Phantom Brigade there at the Mix. And we also announced on the Tuesday of E3 that it's Epic Game Store exclusive. And yeah, we've been doing a lot of demoing of Phantom Brigade lately at Bitsummit and at E3 and E3 Judges Week and a few other places too, and been getting a lot of really positive feedback on it, because what we did recently is we changed, over the last year, we changed the way that the combat works, and we made a new trailer. Marlon made a new trailer, which I'll show in a moment. And yeah, it's just been really gratifying to know that people are pumped about the changes that we've made. Let's show you this Phantom Brigade trailer that Marlon and the Phantom Brigade team made. So this one, we're going for more a Tom Francis style explainer trailer.
Using the timer.
Yeah, very cinematic. That is the entire goal with this game.
To visualize predicted unit movement.
Make it feel more like a mecha anime.
There is much work to be done since the invasion. We must take back what is ours. We are counting on you, Commander.
So yeah, the team the core team is 5 now. At Brace Yourself Games, we also have a support structure for the teams, because we have 3.5 games going on at once. So yeah, people like Marlon and me and many others are supporting the core teams, but there's not enough work for Marlon to do video production and cinematics and things like that on one game entirely. So he works on 3 of them and eventually 4 of them. But yeah, primarily it's 5. But yeah, like I was saying, you don't need a massive team to do big things, and yeah, hopefully we're going to prove that that's true. And you take way less risk this way as well, because the upside, the potential for success is still really high. Games like Minecraft and whatnot were originally made by one person or a small number of people. They can earn more than AAA titles that were worked on by hundreds and hundreds of people. So I think it's better to work smart, work on game ideas that don't need to be so massive to succeed, and yeah, work with super talented folks that can pull off stuff like this. And yeah, Felix, you're saying that if the game doesn't work out for you, your loss is going to be much smaller than if you have a team of hundreds of folks. So yeah, I'm not sure why you would ever want to scale up to something that large. Doesn't seem necessary. All right. And yeah, we launched, during E3 week, we also launched Cadence of Hyrule, which was exciting after having worked on it for a year and a half. But yeah, there's not too much I can talk about in terms of, how the development went and things like that. But, looks like there's public information talking about the Cadence of Hyrule was the most downloaded game on the Switch last week in Japan, which is cool. And yeah, lots of the reviews coming in are very positive. People like Polygon saying things like it's the best Zelda spin-off game ever made. And yeah, I think our Metacritic is about 86, which is pretty much what Necrodancers is. So yeah, we're just happy that that people seem to be liking it so much, because obviously we tried really hard, but there's a fair amount of pressure too. A lot of people watching us. Thanks to everyone who's been playing it and for giving us your feedback and reviews and things like that. It's been a wild ride and really fun to watch. But yeah, that's what has been happening with Brace Yourself Games. But lots of stuff has been happening with the industry at large in the last 4 weeks since we last Clark Tank too. So. I mentioned that there are tons of games announced for Epic Games Store at E3. Companies have been posting their sales stats on the Epic Games Store, and Satisfactory apparently has sold 500,000 units so far, and that's only since last 7 months or something like that. It's not even an entire year worth of sales. I think it seems like a game like Satisfactory, which is a kind of 3D Factorio sort of game, would be a good summary of it. It seems like that sort of game would do possibly better on Steam than 500,000 units in this time frame, but not orders of magnitude better. It wouldn't have sold 5 million units, maybe a million or something like that. So yeah, I think it's a lot of folks are kind of surprised to see that the Epic Store could be producing those kinds of numbers. Early access started this March. Oh, did they not launch Satisfactory when the Epic Games Store launched? I think people knew that it was coming earlier on, but it only actually launched in March, so that's even better than I expected. But yeah, it's awesome to see that the Epic Games Store is quite healthy. And yeah, those numbers are higher than I expected. Oh yeah, this Reddit post came out not too long after our last Clark Tank, but I thought it was pretty interesting. It seems like they were taking a look at recently launched games from a particular time window. They were trying to figure out, what correlates with success, and I think by success they were, just looking at total number of reviews, basically using the Boxlighter method. So yeah, people were wondering, does quality predict success? Well, I think by quality they mean like review scores, and they're saying, it's too subtle to be detected by this data. And people have said that before, and Valve has even said that before, that you don't need to have super amazing reviews in order to sell well. And there are games like NBA 2K19 and 18 and whatnot that often get really negative reviews, but they're still hanging around the charts that prove it. So I think this shouldn't be too surprising to Clark Tank followers. Do demos, early access, or launch discounts affect success or failure? I think they didn't have enough data for demos. There are very few games that do demos these days, but there are some significant ones like Lars games that do use demos successfully. So I'm not aware of many that do it and haven't succeeded. I'm sure there are many, but yeah, you need a much larger data set in order to figure that sort of thing out. So pre-launch awareness, Steam followers, does that predict success? So yeah, we basically knew this already, but yeah, it's nice to have confirmation of it. Organic followers prior to launch are a strong predictor of a game's eventual success. And we know that it's strongly correlated to wishlist numbers as well, which of course is going to be correlated to success. What about price? Yeah, it sounds like you're going to be judged more harshly if you're charging $60 or a higher amount than $10. So again, reasonably intuitive. I think these ones here are pretty interesting. So do first week sales predict first quarter results? So this is pretty similar to what Jake has done, where he tries to look at your week one sales and compare that to your year one sales and how correlated is it. And it sounds like confirming what Jake already showed, that yes, it's correlated. So yeah, if you have a strong week one, you can expect, a reasonably strong year one or first quarter. But Jake showed there's quite a bit of variability in that, so you shouldn't go buy a new multi-million-dollar house or something like that after just 1 week of sales, because there can be factors of 2 or 3 or 4 difference between different games, how they do. But yeah, this one's interesting. We've never really talked about it before. Is does quality help with the game's tail? But yeah, it's cool to know that quality does seem to be correlated with a game's tail. So quality, it sounds like, isn't correlated too strongly with success overall. But yeah, I guess like the thickness, how long your tail is going to be strong for, it is correlated with. So interesting. Obviously, you should always try to make a game that gets good review scores. Is it possible to predict a game's success before launch without knowing wishlists? And yeah, we pretty much already knew this. Because of followers data, you can. It's interesting that they did say that organic follows. I wonder what they mean by that. Like if you can try to drive follows, like if you have a contest or something like that where you try to entice people to follow your game, those would not be organic. And then you probably wouldn't get the same sorts of correlations that we've been seeing in the past. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, for this article. So yeah, it confirmed a few things that we already suspected, which is nice. And yeah, we learned a little bit about the tail, so maybe review scores help you there. Jake is saying Dan Cook said increasing polish didn't boost retention. That's interesting. Well, I wonder what he means by polish, because I could believe it that visual polish is maybe something that helps get people into the game. So if it doesn't look visually polished in the first place from the screenshots and the trailers and whatever, people might bounce off of it and not want to play it at all. So that's not harming your retention, it's just harming the conversion of your store page to actual players. But once people are in the game, the thing that retains them would definitely be game mechanics. Your game has to give them reasons for coming back over and over again. It doesn't matter if your graphics are pretty if you only got 1 hour of gameplay. That's not going to do it. So that makes sense. Even though we had a super high conversion rate, the vast majority of Steam players bought the game sight unseen. Yeah, I wonder, Lars, if perhaps it's... We know that if you bring outside traffic to Steam, especially if you bring new users to Steam and things like that, the algorithm seems to like it and want to give more visibility to your game. So I wonder if your outside of Steam demos bringing eyeballs to Steam helped make the algorithm like the game more, and then it naturally sold more as well because of that. Whereas a demo that's on Steam is not going to be bringing new people to Steam. It's just going to be offering that demo to people who are already finding it organically on Steam. Hoprog, you think something like that happened with Forager's demo? So how did your demo work for Forager? Was it on your website or was it on Steam? Nick is saying, I don't know where I'd look up Steam demo stats offhand, but I know our Xbox demo converts about 20%. Nick, you have a demo for Slime Rancher? Yeah, 20%, Nick, on Xbox sounds pretty nuts. I wonder how well the Xbox store, promotes the demos, because on Steam it's just this button over here. Like, if you didn't know to look for it, like when you told me that there was a demo and I came here, I'm like, where is it? There it is. And that was with me looking for it. Cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna add Slime Rancher to my mental list of really successful games that do have demos. I wonder if retroactively adding a demo for Necrodancer would do something. If we had time to do that, it would be an interesting experiment to see, do our stats change when we add a demo? Hopfrog saying, Forager demo on itch had 351 downloads. Whoa. Steam was 313,000 downloads. 351,000 downloads. So yeah, that was, if it was coming from itch, and then people going to Steam to wishlist and stuff, then that qualifies as external traffic coming to Steam. And yeah, I believe that the algorithm, likes that sort of thing, which makes sense. Valve would want people coming to their platform and reward that sort of behavior. And also, I think it just shows that there's external buzz about the game. And yeah, they want to surface games like that to their users. This was an interesting tweet talking about the most viewed game trailers on that came out during E3, and I think it was actually combining multiple trailers. So trying to aggregate, because sometimes the developer themselves would post a trailer, and then Sony would post one on the PlayStation channel and stuff like that. So you know, it's all the eyeballs are split all over the place. So it sounds like they tried to aggregate it, which is interesting. So it seems like Cyberpunk 2077 kind of won E3. Marvel Avengers and Star Wars Jedi, Halo Infinite, FIFA, they were all in the top as well. Breath of the Wild 2, I'm a little surprised that this is lower. At least in my circles, people seem to be pretty hyped about Breath of the Wild 2, including me. But, you know, my circles perhaps are Zelda-loving circles. Analysis here, which is highest rated, so this is like ratios of likes to dislikes. And looky here, Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer featuring The Legend of Zelda. We're up there in likes, which is pretty cool. So yeah, the ones that people like the most are Planet Zoo, Ori, Breath of the Wild, and yeah, there's Luigi's Mansion. So Nintendo's got some good ones really high up there. I think the problem with the Zelda trailer is that it's so early. You'd think that it would get more hype if they showed more stuff. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I just thought that this analysis was interesting. Haven't seen that sort of thing discussed before. But yeah, Cyberpunk. At E3, it definitely seemed to be the most buzzy game. A lot of people talking about it for sure. So not too surprising there for me. Yeah, this is interesting. So the folks who made Cultist Simulator, Weather Factory, they made a mobile port of it, and they posted some sales stats for us, which was super cool of them. And yeah, they worked with an external studio to do it. I think that they said, yeah, they did a 50-50 rev split. So it sounds like they didn't pay for the port. The developers who did the port did it, on spec in order to recoup via this split. And after 2 months, they've made about 200K, 200K euros. And that seems pretty good after 2 months. I imagine it's paid for the porting costs, and for Weather Factory, it's kind of like free money. So yeah, it looks like the tail dropped off pretty sharply, which is similar to what we've seen with Necrodancer on mobile. We only really get spikes if we do sales, or if there's other Necrodancer news going on, like when Cadence of Hyrule came out. It's just good to know what you can expect if you take your PC game and port it. I think this is a reasonable ballpark that you can get. Yeah, they only got 100K, but still, like, the amount of effort that they had to do in order to manage the port, there's probably some production and back and forth and whatnot, but probably well worth 100K. So yeah, I do think that if your game is reasonably successful on Steam and other PC platforms, that if you put it on mobile, you probably would make like, yeah, a few 100K. Not unreasonable to expect. And yeah, if you have some production help, someone who can manage the people who are doing the port, it seems like a reasonably worth the effort. After we do the rest of our homework, we're going to be playing My Friend Pedro. So why don't we take a look at the trailer for it now? The whole banana thing, I guess it's a hook. It's like, it makes it interesting. You're wondering what the heck's the banana about. Apparently it's been Devolver's best launch ever. Oh, yeah, well, it was #1 on the day it came out in Steam. Obviously working fairly well. Already 1,000 reviews in just one day. Let's see where it is in the charts right now. Back to #1. Yeah, I think it was #2 for a bit. Maybe trading spaces with Bloodstained. All right, well, we'll probably find out more about that when we get to a proper chart that shows the positions. What's this link? Oh, is this the other trailer that they made?
Are expected to rise by 69 degrees.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're not showing this on Steam because the trailers need to show in-game play. Yeah. Well, I think they have rules on that about screenshots. Is that the rule also for trailers? Yeah, that is a good trailer. Yeah, 500K views. Like, yeah, that wow. I didn't know that it had so many views. Yeah, as soon as you see like something over 100K, it's pretty much guaranteed to be successful. Like 500K, this is like getting close to Cuphead kind of territory. Not exactly Cuphead, it had ones in the millions, but still, this is extremely high for an indie game. So yeah, we're going to play My Friend Pedro later, see if we can learn anything about why it's selling so well. So, obviously top-notch trailers, that's a part of it, but the game itself must be pretty good too. So yeah, next up, we'll take a look at, we do this every Clark Tank now, the ICO Steam Newsletter. So yeah, this comes out every week. You can sign up for it yourself if you want to, and it just shows the new releases ranked by total number of reviews. So Space Engine. So there was Space Engineers before, which was extremely successful. What is this Space Engine? It's not about interacting. Okay, so yeah, that's what it looks like. You're just like observing things and getting cool pictures of it. All right, is this the real UI of it now? So it's not really a game. It's very interesting that games like this and Universe Sandbox can do so well on Steam. What does that mean? Like, I guess the Steam kind of aggregates, you know, a lot of nerds who like sci-fi stuff like this. It's got the Venn diagram overlap with the Steam audience. There's, you know, some part of the Steam audience that really also likes these types of things, experiences, even though they're not really games, which is cool. But then that leads me to wonder, like, what other, you know, overlaps could there be? What other types of non-game applications could you make that would sell well on Steam? And whenever I see patterns like that, we're like, okay, something weird happened. What is, you know, the cause of that weird thing? And then if you extrapolate that to, you know, other possibilities, you know, what could that mean? So, yeah, like, what other nerdy type things would Steam players be into? What is this? Engion? Indie League. There should be a league where indies battle. Wish there were more Chinese games. Well, it seems like there are more and more coming, which is very, very awesome to see. Looks like an action RPG beat 'em up sort of thing. It looks funny when the characters are like walking around. One of them is just strolling. You know, no urgency despite being totally surrounded by monsters. There was recently news that by 2023 there'll be more Chinese PC players than people in the USA. That is awesome. Well, let's see. So this seems like Indie League Studio. I have not heard of them before. Publisher 2P Games. And yeah, we can see that primarily these are, you know, reviews in Chinese. So, you know, Chinese produced games do really well with the Chinese audience on Steam, and that audience is large. But yeah, it's super cool to see that, like, on Steam there's a massive audience for Chinese produced games. I had Delivery by Potato Studio. I like it. It's very narrative. Ugh, you got something wrong with your belly button there, pal. Huh. So yeah, let's see if this is another one where the majority of the reviews are in Chinese. Yeah. Huh? French. Okay. Homework is crazy. These Chinese games. They don't even bother to localize the trailers and stuff into English, and they don't need to. You know, it sells well on its own. This is a, you know, a massive shift. Oh, here's gameplay. Are they harassing him to study? Study? Mostly negative, but still has quite a lot of reviews. English language not supported on this one. See, are there any English reviews? There are some. How are they playing this? They must be bilingual, I guess. It's wild that India's economy grows and another market as big as Chinese will eventually emerge. It's all good news if you're an indie dev, especially indie devs in those markets, but it just means that, you know, the more game players there are out there, the more, you know, possible it is to produce, you know, smaller niche sort of innovative indie games and find an audience. Because, yeah, if there's going to be enough PC game players in China more than number of humans in the USA, that's massive. So we need to learn more about these markets for sure. And yeah, that's part of the reason why we at Brace Yourself Games like to travel around and go to. We play in Shanghai, and we went to Taipei Game Show and Bitsummit and things like that, because we need to learn. I think we all do. All right, now we've got a few other tools that we can use to make sure that we're not missing out on any new games that are noteworthy that we should be paying attention to. So yeah, Total War 3 Kingdoms we knew about, talked about that. They are billions, so it just came out of early access. Wow, it's only 59%? What the heck? I thought it was positive before. It's only recently, so maybe the new update. People are upset about, like, the final launch update of their billions. Okay, 12,000 reviews. That's about what Necrodancer has. But yeah, did they increase the price too? They did. It was 25, and they bumped it up to 30. See, I wonder if people are upset about that. Seems the campaign was rushed without much love. That's interesting. Alright, so let's take a look at the top 50. And then we'll get through to the Kickstarter report, and then we'll play some My Friend Pedro, which I'm excited about. This game is doing amazingly well. We need to learn more about why, I think. Okay, so CSGO is number 1 overall. Dota 2, they just had a new... I'm surprised CSGO is higher than Dota 2, because Dota 2 just had the new expansion, right? Does that count as Dota 2? Does it count as the same game? Dota's not normally this high. Is like the release of Underlord somehow causing people to play Dota? It's weird. So yeah, Bloodstained finally came out a couple of days ago. Wow, it's $40. And yeah, the reviews are really good. Yeah, Underlords, it's Valve's version of Auto Chess, the Auto Chess mod, which was a big announcement at the Epic announcement during E3, is that the original creator of Auto Chess is making a version that will be exclusive to the Epic Store. Underlords, Valve's Auto Chess is on mobile as well, which is an interesting step for Valve. Let's see if Bloodstained has a new trailer, and yeah, we already watched the trailer for My Friend Pedro. 13 DLCs for free? Did that just say that? Well, it's good to see that people are really enjoying this game. Yeah, it seemed for a while like they might not, with all the complaints about the art style and stuff. The DLCs are a joke. That was weird. They have like old sprite graphics in it. Poker chip boss. Well, the trailer definitely leaves you, well, laughing and wondering what the heck's going on. Wow, the high price, that's a high price and still getting such positive reviews. That's impressive. So My Friend Pedro is just a little bit below it. Rainbow Six is around. PUBG, Ark's up here because it's on sale. Same with Jurassic World. Muse Dash. Is this like a franchise that already existed? It's a rhythm game. Hey, people like rhythm games? What? How is it this high in the charts? A $3 rhythm game. I've said before, I think the rhythm genre is viable. Like, it's not easy to do necessarily, but there are quite a few games on Steam, rhythm games, that have done very well. Not just Necrodancer. Many Twitch streamers are getting into it. Yeah, I have seen a lot of Twitch streamers like straight up rhythm games. Plenty of them, of course, like Necrodancer and Cadence of Hyrule, but I think they just kind of zone out, play a song on, one song on the rhythm game, and then stop and talk to chat for a bit and then play another song. Whereas games like Necrodancer and whatnot don't have that same sort of flow. Huh. Well, this is unexpected. Whoa, what the heck? All the DLC adds up to $30. Okay, so maybe that's... No, because DLC would be showing up in the chart separately. This game on its own has such a high rating. How does it have this many reviews? It just came out yesterday. It's bonkers. There are games like Melody's Escape, cheap-ish at $10, but does not have it seems like a good game and good reviews and things like that. But to me, it doesn't seem as hype as that other game we just watched. And so games like this can do reasonably well on Steam. So if you turn that to 11 and make something like Muse Dash, it shouldn't be too surprising, I suppose, that it does really well. I think there's a Chinese component to this success. Perhaps it wouldn't be as successful if it wasn't a Chinese dev boost that games get. If they're developed in China, I think that Chinese gamers on Steam like to support them. And it's quite possible that the store page that they see, if they have Chinese set as their primary language, might be promoting these games very heavily. So it makes sense. But yeah, I think that factor probably accounts for why I was so surprised. The 600, this is a lot of reviews for one day. The publisher is XD Network. I wonder if the XD, if they intended that to be the the emote, the XD, the squinty face smile. What would an XD face look like in real life? Like that kind of thing? Maybe you guys can make better XD faces than me. You gotta put your head sideways, I guess. Alright, let's keep doing our homework. Well, that was an interesting surprise. Alright, GTA, Path of Exile, Dead by Daylight. I expect it to be higher, 50% off Dead by Daylight. That's a little surprising. Steel Division, Total War. Okay, so Total War is sticking around. Steel Division 2 just came out yesterday. I'm surprised it's not doing better. Okay, Elder Scrolls, Final Fantasy, Rocket League, these things are all normally around here. Now Cyberpunk. This is pretty insane that it's 19th in the top sellers and it's coming out basically a year from now. Yeah, we're going to see, in all future Clark Tanks, I guess we're going to see Cyberpunk. Like, could it possibly stay at this spot for a year? Black Desert Online. Hey, it's Slime Rancher. You still in here, Nick Popovich? Why is Slime Rancher up here? Victor's experimental update. What are these glitchy slimes? Oh no. Oh no. Each is a free update. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing the results that you and your team are getting from this. Super cool and inspirational. And yeah, like I said, showing that there's a different way to succeed on Steam than deathy, swordy, bloody things like these games. Nothing wrong with, these games. I enjoy them too. But yeah, it's good to know that that's not the only thing. There's another audience, on Steam that appreciates different kinds of games too. Super Neptunia. Okay, this is another one where there's English and Chinese in the title. Let's see what this is about. Neptunia is a series, right? I've never got into it, so I don't really know anything about this. Okay, where were we at? Yeah, Super Neptunia. Wow, expensive. It does not look like a $50 kind of game. It must just be that it has a existing following that I'm not aware of. That's an interesting one. It's dropping off fairly quickly, though. War Thunder is usually around somewhere. Looks like there were some events or sales or something, or it wouldn't be stair-stepping like this. So yeah, this is the history of where it was in the Steam Top 50 over the last 24 hours. So you can see, like, when games have sales and suddenly end, like this looks like a sale ended and then it's just fallen out of the charts, right? Star Trek Online. They must have had an event or update or something as well. It's an older game. Yeah, NBA is usually around in the charts, and yeah, the NBA Finals recently ended with Raptors winning. Congrats, Raptors. But yeah, look how negative it is, and it just still sells, just sits in the charts constantly. Civ, why is its score getting so negative? MK11 still doing well. Oh, on a small sale, 17%. That's weird. It came out fairly recently, and they're doing a 17% off sale. Why not? Pronounced Win saying, I saw that MK11 is the best-selling game in 2019 in the US. Really? A medieval. What is this? What are you? I don't know about you. 7 weapons. You got your spinny guy. You got your shooty trident. Looks like Hexen. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, the graphics are retro 3D, which is a little weird in Heretic. Anyway, that is interesting. Okay, it was early access. Because, yeah, there's no way that it could launch yesterday and get this many, I don't think. Yeah, it's very subtle with the all caps, Heretic. They only have 92 reviews in the last 30 days, so it came out recently. So yeah, it's doing all right. So it's in the charts, where is it? 40s. Police Simulator Patrol Duty. What are you? You came out a couple days ago. I think I've said before that I think, police-themed games, it's a viable theme, and people are interested in playing, police games. All right, give them the breathalyzers, searching the trunks, request the towing of parked. So this is like a German simulation of being a cop, where they do, the German sims tend to be like, as accurate as possible, bus driver simulator. Oh, now it's getting a little bit more hype. But yeah, I imagine the majority of what police officers do is breathalyzers and parking tickets and stuff like that. So yeah, I do think that games with this theme are viable, but yeah, as just mentioned, could be at risk of some backlash for sure if you make a game in that genre or with that theme. Realm Royale, must have had. See, it's so useful having this, because if we didn't know that it's spiked up and now it's spiking back down, we wouldn't know that there was like some event or sale or something like that going on. We might just think, oh, I guess this game is climbing the charts now, but yeah, I think not really. Valkyria Chronicles 4, just on sale. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel, yeah, another, looks like an event. Looks like maybe something happened with the Steam algorithms with like all free-to-play games. Because look at these. These are very similar bumps. I wonder if something got tweaked in the algorithm briefly and then untweaked. So yeah, we could probably stop there. So top wish lists was an interesting one. And yeah, now Cyberpunk, I guess, it's going to be the new champion sitting here for the next year. That's my prediction. So even if it doesn't stay as high in the top sellers charts as it is right now, which I cannot fathom that it could, maybe it will, I expect it'll be here in this chart for good till it launches. Master Chief Collection, yeah, it's been there before. Let's just see if there's anything new. So yeah, the new Baldur's Gate is in here. And yeah, Destiny 2, which was announced, is coming to Steam. Not surprising. Dwarf Fortress still doing well. It's good to see. Rad. Rad was announced a while ago. Did it not have a store page? And actually, our other game, Phantom Brigade, has been doing well with wishlist lately. So Phantom Brigade has been doing better wishlist-wise than Industries of Titan. There it is. Huh. Okay. That is good information for us. Yeah, that's interesting to know that I'm pretty sure, I'm going to go check again, but I'm pretty sure that in the last week, Phantom Brigade has had a lot more wish lists than Industries of Titan. And yet, Industries of Titan is still higher than it. So I wonder if it's... So we've theorized that this chart, maybe it works similar to the top sellers chart, but the top sellers, it seems like the window for like sales that it's checking on top sellers is like 24 hours or maybe a couple days at most. But for this, it definitely doesn't seem like it's 24 hours. It doesn't fluctuate that much. And I have had some other devs suggest to me that it's longer than I thought, based on some data that they have. So maybe it's like a month, or maybe it's not even working with that sort of window thing that we were expecting. What amount of wish lists are the games in this list pulling? Well, Phantom Brigade has been having over 100 pretty much every day, but then some spikes lately because we've been getting a lot of press because we were demoing it at E3 and at Bitsummit and stuff like that, so we were getting spikes up into the 500 area per day. Whereas Industries of Titan is usually pretty steady around 100-ish. 100-ish, if you're a bit over 100, you can get to the top 25 of this. But again, maybe we don't know exactly how this is working. Other people have said that too, that your release date, like as you approach release, this list seems to favor you. So it could be a mixture of, the total number of wish lists you're getting and how soon you are launching. All right, okay, last few things we need to do before My Friend Pedro. We take a look at new and trending just to make sure we're not missing anything. So we talked about a Medieval and Super Neptunia. We're going to play My Friend Pedro. Steel Division we did talk about last time. Kittened. We're going to check you out. There are cats just in boxes. They just come spilling out of the box. That's kind of weird. Lots and lots of kittens. What? You spray paint your cat? Meme game for sure, but it's selling some. Muse Dash, we talked about that. Wait, what? Is this just the DLC? I think this is just the DLC, which is $30. Huh. It's not often that you see DLC in the new and trending, so it must be selling reasonably well too. Like, how many reviews? Wow. Alright, so let's look at the histogram to see how many games have been coming out the last little while. Usually it's somewhere in the, mid to low 20s. Oh, maybe a little high the last week. So E3 week, a little low. Kind of makes sense. Don't really want to launch a game then, although we did. And then recovered, bounced back a little bit high afterwards, which kind of makes sense. Okay, let's look at Harbor's graph that keeps track of the moving average. Look how it's dipping. It's dipping. There's always a dip before summer when presumably the summer sale, no one wants to launch during the summer sale. You want to launch during E3 if you're announced there? Yes. I think for us, it worked out all right. If you were making a lesser known indie game, you probably don't want to launch during E3. Yeah, I guess it's another one of those things, just you have to judge how much hype can we generate. Are we going to generate enough hype that even during E3 we can get attention? And then maybe you'll get more attention because a lot of people are thinking about games and paying attention to the game industry during E3. Or can you partner with, somebody to get your game shown in one of the showcases or something like that. So yeah, it's falling off earlier than the usual dip. So like we'll see this fall off even more once the Steam Summer Sale comes. If it crosses below the blue line, I declare Indiepocalypse canceled. Like this bump, it's gonna cross, because this bump was that was when they greenlit a whole bunch of games, right? And then this bump was Steam Direct, I'm pretty sure. So there's no reason for there to be a bump this year. So this, it's gonna cross. Like, why would this? Like last year, there was no reason for there to be a bump, and it just held steady, right? Look. So this year, we're gonna be like here. We're gonna be below. All right, Indiepocalypse canceled. It's over. Yeah, I guess just because the Indiepocalypse is canceled doesn't mean that it's magically easy to make indie games and successful indie games on Steam. But it does mean that it's, we're not going, the chart is not going up and to the right forever and ever into oblivion, which is good news. So, alright, so before we play some My Friend Pedro, we'll take a look quickly at the latest Kickstarter games. Although it does seem that Kickstarter is somewhat on the decline in terms of relevance for indie games. Yeah, Skatebird, yeah, a lot of indie devs talking about Skatebird for sure. I think Tanya Short made a tweet before, speaking of birds, about knowing when you're just in an indie echo chamber and when, the buzz that you're seeing is actually, gamers and not just devs. Okay, Raw, Sandbox, MMORP. It's just an MMORP. It's not a MMORPG, or they wanted to say game after.
The town is dynamically growing and developing. Each player has
cool.
influence and can contribute to its elaboration.
If they can actually simulate all of that effectively, people will really like this. Yes.
And in a stable
is this gameplay? Yeah, I'm curious.
Service
or is this just cinematic?
And work privileges.
Open world hardcore MMORPG with unique approach to social structure and high attention to gameplay details. $100,000 is nowhere near enough to make such a game. Yes. I am also extremely suspicious. What if their entire team is just one cinematic editor? Yeah. Gameplay demonstration is on its way. Okay. That would be good. Sometimes it happens where there's like really talented artists and animators and stuff like that. And maybe they left, AAA and they want to make a game and, they're in charge of the production. And they're like, look, we can make all these assets, therefore you just glue it all together with code and it's a game, right? But yeah, Rockstar couldn't make this game for 100 million. Yes, exactly. This is a many millions of dollars massive team kind of thing, unless the gameplay is way more limited than they're letting on here. So I don't know, maybe by next Clark Tank we'll see. Skatebird, let's watch this by fellow indie devs. Glass Bottom Games. Oh, that's a cool way to get your logo in there. I like it. Clever. Very clever. And yeah, if you follow Meg on Twitter, I think that she says that she was inspired by like a GIF of birds riding on tiny skateboards, and like that tweet, that GIF had tons of retweets and stuff like that. Like that's how you gotta identify hookiness. Oh man, it's so sad when they ragdoll. Very hooky. Like, this is the kind of thing that you need to do. Like, find something that people are hyped about and that you're interested in. Mash them together. Small Saga. What manner of vermin lurks beneath our feet? An RPG of miniature. Okay, I'm curious about this one. Let's watch that, and then we'll move on. Play some My Friend Pedro. Said anything about running? Oh yeah. You can't. They modify this lighter to make it a gun, or just use fire on him. Okay, I like it. It looks like it might not get funded. I'm surprised. Especially if they're getting good engagement on Twitter, like Star is saying. Well, hopefully they get there. Heck, why can't you innovate in the JRPG space? Like, that's for the reason why I don't like JRPGs is they're all pretty much the same. The story changes and the enemies and graphics and whatever, but the core gameplay is the same. Why? At least if it's going to be different, like if it's going to be the same, it should be funny. Fire up some My Friend Pedro. Okay, normal. Okay, yeah, we just want to... Oh, bananas. I get it. That's good. That's good. Yeah, we just want to learn about the game, so we're just going to play it on normal. Wait. We always got to go left first, because they hide stuff. Don't know how I feel about having an inanimate object tell the player to kill a bunch of people. It's true. There are people with mental health issues for whom this is not a joke. I do think game design wise, having a sort of a persistent like friend, just like in Portal where like GLaDOS is talking to you the whole time, if you have good writers, which it seems like they do, it just makes the whole game feel better. It'd be cool if they just VO'd all of this rather than having text boxes like GLaDOS just talking to you. It's a very pulp style, yeah. How many Devolver games are this sort of violent game? Yeah, they do seem to be more violent than average, especially for smaller indie games. What's the downside of just dodging all the time? I'm right up in his face. Found the replay value of the game, getting a nice choreographed run that makes you feel like a badass action movie star? Yeah, I guess. C. Could do better. Alright, I wonder what it'll say if we get a B. Oh, you can tweet. Aha. That's smart. So you can tweet, like, it looked like it automatically had a GIF of your best maneuver or something there. I'm going to click that we'll do this level and then I'll click that tweet button. I'm going to see, like, how does it hashtag it and what is it linking to and stuff like that. Because that could be a big part of it for sure. If people really are enjoying the stuff that they're doing and are tweeting a lot about it, it can make a big difference. We're planning to do something in Phantom Brigade where you can tweet, videos and stuff like that of the maneuvers you've pulled off. So yeah, there's definitely cool stuff you could do, and you could make GIFs that you're proud of, probably. Oh, Cipher could do better. I'm sad. Okay, save the GIF, save and tweet GIF. I just want to see other humans tweeting their GIFs. Are they doing it? Okay, so that's a GIF, but probably not the auto tweet. They probably just downloaded the GIF and tweeted it. Maybe it could be this. Yeah, it looks like people are just downloading the GIFs and posting them. So I guess, if that's what people are going to do, and like that's probably what I would do too, you would probably want to have like a watermark in the GIF itself telling people like where the name of the game and where to go to get it or something like that. Yeah, well there is definitely on Steam a group of people who like, dark and violent games. And I do think the humor in it is good. Yeah, I'm concerned about the mental health things because I know people who have similar issues, and yeah, it's definitely no joke. So yeah, it's a concern, but people are not concerned about that sort of thing. If you remove that, the rest of it seems well made, and the writing is funny and things like that. And yeah, it seems like a good fit for the Steam audience. That initial trailer was really good. 500,000 views on a trailer, like you're pretty much guaranteed to do extremely well. Yeah, it's like the GIFs and stuff allow you to show off, like it makes you feel like you're powerful and cool, which is part of the reason why I think Phantom Brigade, our other game, feels really good too, is because you're outnumbered and outgunned, so like you're up against your 2 mechs and you're up against like 5 tanks and an enemy mech or worse. And you can win because you can see what they're going to do and you can plan precisely your response to it, and then the result feels, like you're kicking serious butt. But, the reason why you're able to kick serious butt is because you have, unfair advantages, basically. But your psyche doesn't, when you watch it all play out, it doesn't really remember, oh, I was able to do that because I have an unfair advantage. It just feels like, that's me kicking butt. And I think this game is similar because it gives you abilities that humans wouldn't really have, so it makes you feel kind of superhuman, and then allows you to share gifts of it. And I imagine streamers and YouTubers like having that feeling, showing off like they're superhuman, especially if they're better at the game than I am. They could probably pull off some pretty impressive things. So 2.8k viewers on Twitch right now. Yeah, it's pretty good. That's not off the charts. Yeah, I wonder how many they've had at their peak. I would expect it probably was higher than that before. Let's look on Steam Spy. Maybe millions, low millions. Not bad, but yeah, not as good as Hop Frog. No, this is just the last week. This is just recently, so way after your launch, you're still getting in the millions. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, that leads me to believe that My Friend Pedro may drop off rather quickly if streamers and YouTubers aren't really that hyped about it. But yeah, I do. One thing I think you can learn from this: if you have good writers and you can find a way to put into your game like some kind of companion or antagonist in the case of Portal, speaking to you along the way, it's one of my favorite ways of getting narrative. I don't like reading it. I don't like really watching cutscenes most of the time if they're long. I want to play a game, but like while I'm playing game and enjoying gameplay, if there's entertaining narrative going on at the same time, then that just makes it all the richer for me. So I think there's a group of people that feel similarly, and I think that's part of the reason why people feel like Portal is one of the best games ever made, because the mechanics and stuff of Portal are good, but people wouldn't be talking about it as one of the best games ever made if it weren't for the writing. And also they wouldn't if their writing was just in cutscenes where you had to stop and listen to GLaDOS talk at you. It's because she's doing it all along. And yeah, there's a few other games that do it successfully as well, but I think there aren't too many indie games that do it, and I think it is achievable if you have a strong writer on your team, for sure. That is probably going to wrap it up for the Clark Tank this week. But yeah, thank you all once again for hanging out. We learned a lot of stuff about demos, especially this week, which is pretty cool. I did not know that Slime Rancher had a demo. That is valuable information, and that the conversion rate of their demo on Xbox and whatnot is 20%, which is crazy high. But yeah, thank you once again for hanging out. It's way more fun and way more informative as well, doing this with all of you. I think that wraps it up for this Clark Tank, chums. We'll see you next time.